What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. This is another VOD review from the mid-set invitational, this insanely stacked tourney. I mean, just look at the names on the right side. We have Double 61, a world champion, Title, a world champion, Jazz Latte, obviously a beast. Bintium has been at the top of multiple world championships, 62nd, Relic, and we are watching Malala, who is a Vegas Open champion and the winner of the KDA Cup. He, with his performance today, managed to make it to the final day of this cup or tournament. So, I mean, just imagine if he were to win this tournament, how insane of a run that would be. I can definitely see, though, why he was in at least a good enough spot to make it to the final day, because this is a fantastic opener. We got gold opener here. I think something really interesting to point out is that he got drop double Yone there, but he, at no point did he say, I'm going to hold on to this double Yone. He said, I need to hold Heartsteel units. I need to make 10 gold as well. So I'm just gonna buy my Heartsteel Cassante. I'm just gonna make 10 gold and just don't get trapped by seeing this Yone pair and saying, oh, that could be Yone too. You're gonna lose so much econ if you do that. So he sells the Yone pair and just holds these Heartsteel units. Picks up a set as well. So now all he's looking for is Aphelios. And if you notice, he actually pre-leveled there for, I would say, probably Aphelios odds, which I think, he still got to make 10, so it makes sense. Armament-wise, pumping up Inspiring Epitaph and Lucky Streak. Lucky Streak is good when you have a strong opener. We don't really have the strongest openers here, so I can't imagine we would take that. Looks like he's gonna roll pumping up. I don't dislike pumping up a lot, too much. I like this augment a decent bit, though. I think with Ari not being as good, it is definitely weaker here. It looks like he might even... I think he's looking at the stats and, oh my god, Patient Study. It's interesting because I think if he had hit something really bad here, he was happy to just take Lucky Streak and play kind of like a weak Lucky Streak opener, because you don't really have anyone to hold it right now. If you find Aphelios, then it works out really well, because Sante's going to buy you time. So I think that makes sense. But once we uncover Patient Study, we already want to be playing for Lost Streak here. So I think, yeah, you definitely go for that. Also, we're in sort of like the new like Hall of the Nine Galaxy is what it used to be called. Now it's called like loot subscription or something, where at the beginning of every stage, everyone gets the same like loot. So, here everyone's going to be getting a 2-star 1 cost, which is kind of chill. But yeah, full gold opener in this spot means we're going to do our best to maximize our economy here, and just to save as much HP as possible, as well as I've talked about before with this Heartsteel setup. You really want to be able to save HP. Now, when I was talking about Yones before, he had to sell the second Yone because he needed to make gold, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have to play, like, that doesn't mean he cannot play Yone from this spot. I would imagine that we're actually surprisingly like not leaning Yone here, because our item so far is just Rod. It's just Rod. We have Patient Study, so that's going to accelerate us to level 8 really, really quickly, but I don't think we can really play for a Yone game from this spot with Patient Study and this Rod opener. Maybe if we had like a bow or a glove. A glove would probably be the best component. Rough fight here for Malala, actually. We get 2 units down to like 1 HP and just barely don't kill anything, but that is going to be the 5 Heartsteel at 2-3. Now, I'm going to preempt a few YouTube comments. I don't have to tell you guys, this is a high roll spot for sure, but I think it's going to be a really fun way to see how one of the best players in the world, I would say, after all of Malala's performances in tournaments, we can... I think it's uncontroversial to call him one of the best players in the world after what he's done this set. We can see how one of the best players in the world converts this really, really insane spot into a strong board late game and an ability to, cap out your board and potentially win the game. We'll see. Items on Carousel here, I'm really, really curious to see what he goes for. I would probably be attracted to like a bow here. He doesn't pick up bow. He ends up taking belt. Ooh, I think belt makes a lot of sense, right? This is Morello, though I don't know if he wants to make it yet. It's also on it's on an Urgot. You could even just like Morello Urgot if you wanted to here as just your item, which would save you a ton of HP, and like Urgot's a great unit to put on your board. And yep, that's exactly what he's gonna do. Morello Urgot, fantastic item for him, because this crab, when he auto attacks and does the spread out auto thing, he applies Morellos onto all these different units. It's sort of similar to like when people are doing red buff Urgot in the past, but Morello is new red buff, right? It's as flexible and as strong as red buff. Rough fights so far, actually. Speaking of rough buff, red buff. Wait, are we gonna... I mean, you kind of have to, right? It's the first game of the... This is day 1, or this is day 2, game 1. It's the first game of the day. You got to be careful here, though. But I think Well, that's something really, really important there is he scouted the rest of the lobby and saw, okay, everyone else in this lobby is quite strong. There's no one, if you look at the HPs, who's like full loss streaking here. So I can actually afford to make this play here to go for the raising the stakes. And my God, his spot, if he actually gets this this cash out uninterrupted, his spot is going to be insane. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what the spot is here because he's got a decent amount of HP after the first 4 fights, 120 6 stacks on the heart steel. Like, he's not weak at all, and his board's fantastic for how bad it is, if that makes sense. Because you're playing heart steel, your board's going to be, you know, artificially weaker than a normal board would be. But you know, he still has this really fantastic item holder in this Urgot. He's also, you notice, holding on to these disco units here. This looks like a really nice disco setup potentially. And look at this. He says, I'm predicting someone might grief me here. I gotta get this Urgot out because if someone griefs my loss streak here, then we are just absolutely doomed. We're gonna take another loss here, go up to 207 stacks, and he can take full losses here, right? If he takes 2 full losses, he's still gonna be an insane amount of stacks. And everyone else can't, like, ooh, I'd probably angle just the bulk here. Bulk just a fantastic augment, especially in a spot like this where you're probably going to get a bunch of extra components. But as you can see here, Li Xing and 62nd are in our pool here. Those are really scary people to be in our pool because they are they were pretty weak. It looks like they're spiking their boards now. Malala does the scout and says, okay, it looks like 62nd and Li Xing are spiking. He's got a scout. Okay, yeah, he's not even going to scout. He's just going to say, like, they, in a tournament like this, are smart enough. It's very likely that someone will grief me in a spot like this. So I'm just gonna assume that someone's gonna grief me, and I'm gonna swap my board out. But down to 52 HP. This is not a comfy spot at all. This is a spot where it's incredibly high roll, and it's incredibly, like, on one end of variance to even be in this spot. He's 288 stacks at 3-3. But if he stumbles on this pivot whatsoever, you can easily see a player going 8th from a spot like this. If they do not make their pivot perfect, you can just die with this low amount of HP. He's not going to put any units in, and yeah, he's killing like 0 units per fight because he has to guarantee this loss streak with this raising the stakes, and he is going to finish raising the stakes. 369 stacks is his cash out. I can't imagine he's going to double raising the stakes here because he doesn't really have the HP to do it. But yeah, it's going to look like he's going to pivot his board. Item-wise, I don't know. These really look like TF items to me, but we'll see where we end up going from it. He picks up an Ezreal here, which, I mean, there are ideas, right? That, like, if you have this Heartsteel, you can play for, like, oh, somebody DC'd. Oh, Relic DC'd. Oh, okay. Well, we can just skip ahead in the VOD. But yeah, there are ideas that, like, in spots like this, AD Flex is actually quite strong. I actually agree that, like, if you can get that Heartsteel version of AD Flex in, your board is quite strong, but you know, we'll see what the pivot ends up looking like. We get the cash out here, 2 removers and 2 item anvils. They're shiny. Are these Ornn items? They look like Ornn items to me. We hit the Urgot too, so we're gonna level up here. Oh, and then we have another loot orb to pick up, which looks like it has units in it. Gonna make a Warmogs here. I think it's talking about his real bench. Oh my god, and it's double Jhin. Like he kept trying to slam items to get out of these, but double Jhin here. Mana Zane, a really solid pickup here. And then what's the pickup here? Probably Infinity Force. Infinity Force or Gold Collector. Gold Collector tends to fall off later. Yep, just Infinity Force plus the Mana Zane here. And he's thinking that this Mana Zane can be for Jhin later. Okay, so he got a ton of solid items. He still has a lot sitting on his bench here, though. And he's actually going to take a loss here. Oof, scary loss. 31 HP here. He's got the double Jhin here. But, you know, he has no duplicator, right? It's not like he's guaranteed to find a Jhin 2 or anything like that. Picks up a Chosen True Damage Echo here, which is actually going to be pretty nice on his board. And now, yeah, he can move the items over to this Jhin. He actually opts to sell the Ezreal instead of actually using a remover, just saying, like, I value these removers. It could be also that he just got mind flooded and, you know, like, didn't think about it, but you know, like, holding up the Ezreal I think would be really nice. But it's also like at 31 HP, is he really gonna be able to play for that good of a Heartsteel setup? I don't know. But yeah, Mana Zane on this Jhin unit is fantastic. I believe the stats say that that blue buff Mana Zane is like super bis, and he has this tier open, so that's definitely something we could go for. It'll be curious to see what his 3rd Jhin item here is, because, you know, GS is fantastic. This Infinity Force is nice on frontline. He gets a lot of cloaks there, potentially Declaw here. Oh, and he gets his Hall of the 9, which is, it's more items, right? It has to be. Rolling down here just to try to find some kind of solid headliner to play around. Interesting that he skips the Zac but ends up buying the Poppy. Poppy, I mean, obviously a fantastic unit. Ooh, it's a spatula. I mean, this is a dizzying spot. There's no Jazz Spat anymore. What do you even make with this spat? I mean, perhaps nothing for now. The Declaw is just fantastic here. And he is going to go the Adapticone. Yeah, the Adaptive Helm here as just an item for Jhin. It's more mana gen. It's the same idea as Blue Buff, where, you know, like you have this Mana Zane, just getting these turrets online really, really quickly is always good. And then with the Adapticone, you know, get a similar setup. I feel like something like Martyr, when you're capping out your board so high, especially with all of this HP, tends to be really, really good. Stationary support's, of course, not bad either. But yeah, I like the Martyr a lot in a spot like this. And yeah, I mean, we have a fantastic board here. We have our headliner here in the Poppy. We have this, it's 3 big shot board right now, and he's just waiting to find, I mean, maybe a 4th big shot. More likely, maybe we're getting out of this Ezreal on potentially level 9. And the crazy thing is, I say potentially on level 9. I think Malala in this spot says, you know what? I'm playing for 9, right? I have this Poppy too. I don't really need to roll for more stuff on this level. I have a lot of 1-star units, but this Jhin does enough damage for my entire board, right? So, you know, like, I don't actually, like, if he didn't have this Jhin, this board would be quite weak, right? Because he'd have a lot of trouble actually killing units. But the board makes a lot of sense from just a holistic sort of like, what does your board do perspective, because this Poppy is going to buy us infinite time for the Jhin to get all these turrets stacked up and then kill the entire enemy board. All Jhin needs is time, right? Oh, this is really a horrific fight RNG, though. He had the I mean, he definitely mispositioned against this Ribbon, but it's okay. The Poppy is strong enough to carry the fight. Now, he'd really, really love a Jhin on Carousel here. There's also this Alawi. There's also this Lucian. There's also a Fawn, which he's probably never going to get. So I assume we're just going to grab the Alawi here. Fantastic unit to get on our board. That's more frontline. We can just get it in over the Gragas. Probably not going to make like a QSS or anything like that. I don't know what the spat's going to be. I guess like Pentakill spat is the only like really flexible spat that exists in the game anymore. And like it's probably gonna be pretty easy to fit Pentakill onto this board, so Pentaspat would probably be best if we could find it. Just slot in a Yorick plus some kind of Pentakill unit. Could still be this Mordekaiser, could be something else. He goes for a quick swap here to try to, I think he's afraid of Akali players, but doesn't, oh, actually he is into this Akali. This Akali probably can't one-shot the, oh, I mean, this is a fantastic swap, right? Because without the swap, this Akali ends up on the Jhin, and you could see us losing this fight easily. So another win there for Malala. 5 streak here and 83 gold. What a spot. All he has to do now is go 9 and start. Oh my god, wow. What a board pivot, actually. He says this Mordekaiser 2 really isn't doing that much for my board. I'm just gonna move items off Mordekaiser, and I'm gonna play the Jazz here. Jazz with 5 traits in is relatively solid, is gonna provide some tankiness to my board, but the big thing he's playing for is definitely the damage here, because, you know, like we're certainly losing frontline. But yeah, I mean, he has enough frontline with the Alawi, and wow, what a nice call out from Malala, saying like, okay, yeah, I don't really need to play for this. We are 103 gold here. It's curious to, I'm curious to know if he wants to 5-1 it or 5-2 it. I think, wow, really, just always smart from Malala. He's scouting the rest of the lobby and seeing like, okay, how strong is my board compared to these other people's boards? He's not really getting like mind flooded or anything like that. He's actually just, he's playing really, really good TFT. Level up here, we're gonna roll down. That's a lot of Ezreals. Maybe Ezreal 3 out this game. There's the Jhin 2. There's also Lucian as a fantastic unit. The only problem is that our front line is still kind of lacking on this board. Gonna make the TG here, and we don't really have a great spat to make here. Whoa, we get another Ornn item from Hall of the Nine here. He's got this Beethoven, which maybe it's just gonna become like a Morello's. I could see that. And we're fighting into a pretty strong board. I think Malala made absolutely the right call of not sacking one round here. He's like, I need to spike my board this round for sure. The Sona in shot, but I mean, I really think this is not that far off of the board that we want. Ooh, okay, he's gonna use the remover there. He took the Zanya's for Jhin. I love this actually. Oh my god, and he opts to make the Heartsteel spat to play for even higher cap, which is so cool. Where is Alawi? What? Okay, I'm not really sure what that was. I don't know how he swapped Alawi into the tentacle. The Alawi tentacles are really weird with last second swaps. I didn't know you could do that though. I don't know if he intentionally did that. I actually love this though, Zanya's on Jhin, because the only way you lose, I mean, we're not gonna play for Jhin 3. I mean, maybe if we were had a little bit more gold, we could, but I mean, surely not. But yeah, the only way that you lose a lot of these fights when you're playing around Jhin carry is if Jhin just gets like one-tapped. If Jin gets killed before he has time. And with the Mana Zane, you already know he's going to be able to stack up the guns quickly enough. So the Zanya is actually like the perfect final item for Jin, and he knows he's got the removers. He ends up using that remover. He doesn't have the other remover, right? So the remover that he saved earlier ends up actually mattering a lot here. So, you know, when I was talking about, like, he saved that remover on the Ezreal, it ends up actually paying huge dividends here. With like a frontline item, they apparently don't exist. You could even take just like this Guardian spat onto Lucian here. It's both Lucian paired and it can be Guardian later for the Yorick that you would likely get on this board, I would think. But yeah, I mean, at this point, he says, I'm going 10, you know, why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I go 10? My board is strong enough, I'm 31 HP. All I need to be afraid of is like small positioning things, make sure that the Jhin doesn't get like one-tapped by anything, but he's even gonna full cornered here because he knows that he's not fighting any Akalis. He fights into this Twitch here and gets to eat the first Twitch cast and the first Vex cast with those Alawi tentacles, and imagine if you got another cast off, that could potentially deny even more casts, so really, really nice there. Yeah, we're actually gonna get a cash out here. Ooh, it's just a full gargoyle. I mean, that's fantastic. He's looking at potentially reforging things, it looks like. Maybe doing something with this rod, but I mean, yeah, I just like making the full gargoyle there and holding on to this Guardian spat, which I thought was just gonna go on the Alawi, but ooh, a little scary that there's an Akali here and we have our Jhin in the corner, but we do, like I said, we still have that Zanya, so she can never one-shot the Jhin. This is actually a horrifying board that we're fighting that we still managed to kind of stomp. That player got absolutely scammed, by the way. Their board was insane. They had Akali, they had the thing that was like really scary to me about their board is they had Yorick 2 on that board, Akali with Pentakill Spat. They just didn't have items for her, but that, I don't know. I feel like that player got super scammed. I feel like that's a board that can easily go like top 2, top 3. Yet another spat here, so a little bit sad that we made Heartsteel spat, but all good. We're in a level here, and notice he opts to not actually sell the Poppy. Okay, now he's going to sell the Poppy now that he has this Chosen Alawi, and look at this shop here. It's Lucian 2, it's Alawi 2 if he wants it, but he wants to move items over to the headliner, of course, and yeah, he's just going to start putting items down. I mean, when you're level 10, your shops tend to look like this, really, really nice, a lot of 5 costs in them, and it's going to allow us to cap out insanely high. We kill Relic off there, and then it's just Li Xing here, who I have no clue what their board is. Oh, there's just a Caitlyn. Is that the Riven player? Oh, he reforges here, looking for some kind of craftable spat, but alas, I don't think we're going to end up making a punk spat in this spot. Li Xing here, yeah, it's the Riven player here. This is a really interesting positioning setup where he puts the Alawi over here with the 2 tentacles there. What's really, really nice, though, is this Zanya's... Ooh, it's actually really, really close, actually. But it is going to be a win for Malala. I'll keep the post-match thread open so you guys can see all the comps that were played in this comp. Wild game from Malala. Just goes to show why he's one of the best out there. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys got some insight into capping around, going 9, and winning games in TFT. Obviously a high-roll spot, but a really fun game to watch. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitch and all my other links down below. Thanks for watching.